Thank you, Waziri. Please be seated. Thank you very much. Madam Jacqueline Mugo of the Federation of Kenyan Employers, Brother Francis Atwoli, Secretary General of KOTU, and to all fellow Kenyans participating with us today, let me say what a great pleasure it is to join all workers of Kenya and indeed the rest of the world to commemorate this International Labour Day. On this day, we come together to celebrate our workers as creators and makers of things and to recognize the best efforts of their labor, from factory to factory, from field to field, from office to office. The labor of their hands has without doubt transformed our country from year to year and without doubt from generation to generation. It is a fact that without labor, there can be no prosperity. As one philosopher noted, labor is what brings the difference to everything. Evidently, and without a doubt, labor is the game changer of all progress. And that is why today we celebrate the fruits of our labor with thanksgiving in our hearts and indeed as instructed by our national anthem. Fellow Kenyans, when I addressed you on this occasion last year, and my friend Brother Atwoli will remember, the first wave of the COVID-19 had just hit our country. Little did we know at that time that 1 year later, we would be celebrating Labor Day under the third wave of this virus. 14 months later, after our first COVID case was reported, our economy has slowed down. Without doubt, our informal sector has shrunk. And in the hospitality sector, some enterprises have literally closed. Similarly, the cogs in the manufacturing sector have stopped turning as fast as they did. And indeed, it is not lost on me that the people most affected by these unfortunate events are the workers of our country. But in these unprecedented times, and unprecedented not only in Kenya, but globally as well, Kenyans have a way of intuitively pulling together and coming up with innovations and building resilience. Indeed, our founding fathers ingrained our national motto of Harambee, or pulling together, into our national psyche, and I am particularly grateful to the labor movement led by Brother Atwoli for keeping the spirit of Harambee alive during the COVID crisis. The labor movement in Kenya has not only pulled together the workers during the dark moments of this pandemic, it has also been a robust co-worker with government in trying to contain the crisis. And this is because it is during moments of crisis like COVID that those who suffer the most are workers, women, and children. This ability to step in and fill the gap during times of crisis is not something that is new to the labor movement here in Kenya. We have heard that when the colonizers banned all political parties in the mid-1950s, creating a crisis of political expression, the labor movement in Kenya stepped in and continued with the struggle for our independence. It became the funnel for political agitation, and when the leaders of the independence movement were detained during the emergency period, the trade unionists quickly stepped in and held fort until they were released. Undeniably, it was on the tide created by these acts of selflessness that some of our founding fathers arose. These included Tom Mboya, Clement Lubembe, Arthur Achuodo, Dennis Akumu, Martin Shikuku, Markham Singh, Fred Kubai, Bildad Kagia, and J.D. Kali, amongst many others. However, the effort by our labor movement to offer leadership and pull together the country in times of crisis did not stop in the 1950s. Many may recall that during the post-election violence of 2008, our labor movement was the first one to begin mediation efforts between warring divides. Indeed, their efforts to resolve the crisis had been recorded way before the arrival of the first international mediator. This uncelebrated role of the labor movement in Kenya must be put on record, more so their ability to act swiftly in times of crisis, and for that, as a country, we are grateful. Asante sana. Fellow Kenyans, I have submitted in the past indicating that a crisis like the COVID-19 pandemic represents also threats, but it also represents opportunity. Some get paralyzed by the hurdles, and they, unfortunately, end up doing nothing but complain. But those who see opportunity in the face of challenges also produce innovations. And because there are no workers without industry, I would like to take mention of two innovative industries during the past 14 months of COVID. The first one is Hela Clothing Limited. When the COVID pandemic hit our country, this EPZ company quickly discovered the opportunity